Hello, my name's David Linton, and in this short 10-minute video, I just want to show you how to use Updata for the very first time. And it's very easy to forget what it's like once you've learned how to use the software, what it's like for the first time. So I just want to really explain the environment and just give you a few tips to just get you started. So the key thing is in Updata we have these menus, and a lot of people don't appreciate that it just works the same way as in Microsoft. If you double click, it gives you these ribbons, and so you can run through the ribbons like this, and you can collapse them at any time just by double clicking again, and that gives you quite a nice bit of extra screen real estate. So the ribbons are there just by double clicking. If you click on them, you can just and then click on them, double click again to get rid of them. So have a play with that. So let's just talk you through how these work. So the key thing is we have desktops and we have layouts. And so what's the difference between a desktop and a layout? Well, these are the layouts, and a desktop is all of your layouts. So if I load a layout, for example, I can just go and load one of my existing layouts. So this is one of my layouts here, and it's already saved as a layout that I use quite a lot in charts today. And then I can go and add another layout just by going and loading the layouts. Now, the beauty of the layouts is you can bring them in or get rid of them. So that's one of the big advantages. And sometimes you don't want a layout there all the time. So you might want to just load a layout when you want to look at something. So this is just an example, and I can now switch between those different layouts. You can have any number of these layouts, but we start you off with 5. And then I can just save that as a desktop. And that means that when I go, I'm just going to call this layout 5, I'll just give it any old name, and that's now a layout, and that means that and I can actually set that as my default layout, so that when I start Updata, it will start with this layout every time. So that's the idea between desktops and layouts. So I'm just going to go back to a new desktop where I don't have any layouts at all, so I've got a blank screen. So that's how the layouts work. The charts, you will find, is where a lot of the functionality in Updata lies, in these charts menus. And we also do have these drop downs as well, but they're not really showing anything at the moment because I don't have a chart highlighted. Now, I'm going to skip along here to data services, because the key thing with Updata is it's compatible with lots of different data services. And you can just click in, and these are the ones I'm enabled for, and you can enable these on the fly. It will only work with data services that you already have, and you can configure your credentials in the cases where you do have login credentials. But one that is freely available is Yahoo, so anyone can use that. And so I'm just going to start by hitting the space bar, and that gives me the selector for all of the feeds that I'm compatible with. But Yahoo is the one here, and if I just go and type in a code for Apple, you can see it's come up here. It's really very good, and that's gone away to the Yahoo website and just found those all those stocks that are there, and that's the chart. Now, what's key is if I want to change that, so a spacebar opens a new chart. If I want to change the chart, I can just push the F key and it will give me another one. So I can go for applied materials, for example. And so that's one of the ways in which you can change a chart. But if you want to just keep creating new charts, you just hit the space bar, and now I've got 2 charts. So that's really quite key. I have my default set up to be the cloud chart, but you can again change the chart types here, and you'll notice now all these tools become available in this drop-down menu. So you can literally start playing with the tools there. So there's a whole series of functionality here, and I urge you to just play with some of them. You can save charts. These are all the different chart types. And if you hover over these, remembering that I can actually keep that ribbon sticky. You can hover over these and it will tell you what each one of these is by just hovering over and waiting. So for example here, I can see that I've got Bollinger Bands. Now, as it happens, I can just put those straight on the chart from there. The C key clears everything. You can see that what I can do here also is I can just zoom in and out. So if I zoom out, that's going to take me a long way. The Z key zooms to a nice frame where all the candles are showing. The keystrokes, there's lots of different keystrokes. If you you can just literally put moving averages on really, really quickly. But if you look at properties by right-hand clicking there, you can see all the different keystrokes and all the different tools that are available. You can configure those as well. So there's a huge amount of configurability available to you. And this shortcut menu allows you to do things like putting just putting a weekly chart or going back to a daily chart. You can clear those. The Linton targets, which everyone is wanting to use, you just push the T key on there and it puts the trends and targets on for you. And this little button here zooms out including the tool, so it will zoom to include those targets. This one has been given and met. This one has not yet been activated, which is why it's in orange. Again, I can clear those, so that's a really powerful aspect of that. The other thing is you can open watch lists and you can create your own watch lists as well, so that's a really important part of using the system. And I've got loads of different watch lists you can see. So here's a watch list of the UK FTSE 100. So I've now got charts here, and what I could do is I can go to my settings, and here there's quite a cool one which is quote screen and charts today, and that will give you the same sort of layout that I use for charts today. I can turn these into tracker charts, so I can change that to tracker charts. And the same here, I can put that a tracker chart, I can make that a weekly, and now it's building the weekly candles there, so it takes a little bit longer, but now you can see that I've got my weekly and my daily chart. I can make that a cloud by just clicking there, and I can go back to the charts menu and play with that. Now you can also do lots of other amazing things like scanning, writing reports, and back testing. So it's really powerful. I don't have time within the 10 minutes to show you how to do all of that. This is really just enough to get you up and going. So if you then want to save that, you might want to save that as a layout. And what I'm going to do to give myself some more screen real estate is I'm going to just double click on the desktop there, and I'm going to go back and change that layout so that I'm now allowing for the ribbon not to be there. So I've got more space on my screen, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and save that as a layout, and I'm going to call that, let's just call it layout 11 and save. So I've now got that as a layout, and you can really have as many of these as you want. Now we've got tracker charts here, I can literally go through and just scroll my charts, and what I can do is put the targets on. So different targets, different time frames. I'm going to actually just set my targets to 5 because that's just a little bit too many targets to look at, and the same here to 5. And then what I'm going to do is just change the unit size here to make that 1, because that's just a little bit more granular for the weekly, and that's all set up. And again, I could go and save that layout again so that it takes all of that into account. And now I can just go through. Every time I click on this, these things become available. These chart actions become available. When I click away to the quote screen, they go grey because I'm not on a chart. But now I've got all of these tools, and I can go through any list I want. So I think that's just to give you a basic idea of how to get started. There's lots of other things like drawing tools and quick charts bar. Do have a play with it, but the idea was just to get you up and running and started with just how you can use it. And if you've got any questions, just email the help desk. They're always happy to help. Bye for now.